Alrighty then. Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon. It is 1:11. Today will be kind of a shorter day than usual, than I would like. But, it's just how things roll out and kind of work, unfortunately. How is everybody today? Hopefully well. Fixing to get started here with Star Citizen and all right. Wow, my camera looks like it's actually working today. That's funny. Who's over on YouTube? So we're going to be covering Star Citizen Live today. It just aired, just uploaded about 20 minutes ago, I believe. So, yeah. All set up here in just a moment. And one more. Phone is going off like crazy today. There we go. Anyways, let's get started, shall we? How you doing, bud? Yeah, I'm doing good. How you doing, Dark-Sided? It's a little early for you to be in here. Doing good. Fixing to cover SCL. I heard there was some interesting stuff in it today, kinda. How are you today? You doing good yourself? Yeah. Take your time answering. It's all good. I hope you can hear me at least because. All right. Since we're just sitting here, we're about to get started. Now then. Oh, your browser keeps crashing? Ouch. That sucks. Yeah, I've been having issues with some of my recording software. More or less, Yeah, that's good. I heard SCL or Star Citizen Live was okay. It was pretty good. So we're going to do that today. I really wish I could do more this afternoon, but I have a meeting in Oklahoma City here later tonight. See, every second Friday I have stuff going on. You know? Just kind of how things go, you know? Yeah, really. You know? Not trying to be rude, but yeah, really, right? I'm sorry about yesterday, my friend. That was not intended, and I'm going to try to keep vibes positive. Just some things some ground rules needed to be said. I'm sorry if some people got mad, but unfortunately, things need to be said, you know, sometimes. That's all I'm going to say on. Other than that, how are you? You're doing great, apparently, which is good. I'm getting set up here, so it's going to be a few minutes. All right. By the way, Dark-Sided, you didn't tell me what ships you own. I never did find that out from you. It's all good. Yeah. Negativity's good. It's how you use it, you know? I'll put it that way. Anyway, so let's get started, shall we? Is it window camera? Yes, it's. Here we go.
Mm-hmm. It's just that thing where you get to the robots, like, okay, you've got this threat, you've got monsters that are coming up out of a hole, and it's like, okay, so the logical thing is we got to.
I'm gonna downsize my window a little bit
like,
too.
Got that sword, and the sword like cuts through anything, and I'm like, skip the robots and just build a grate over the hole made of that sword.
But what if there's a new hole?
And just. But there wasn't a new hole. That's the thing. Apparently, they've been fighting these monsters for 10, 15 years or whatnot. The monsters keep coming out of the same hole. It's like, just cover the hole with a grate made of that sword stuff and just make monster julienne fries at the bottom of the ocean. It just seemed like a lot less work.
No, you're right.
He's talking about Pacific Rim. I know it.
Pacific Grate? Is that what you said? Pacific Rim?
I said
Yeah.
Pacific.
I know he's talking about Pacific Rim.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Better than
You
you.
can answer in chat.
Oh man, I'm blinded by the lights.
Don't do that.
Welcome to Star Citizen Live. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. If you've never seen Star Citizen Live before, it's where we take a usually predetermined amount of time out of the end of our week, sit with our developers, and sometimes we answer questions. Sometimes we just talk about history, their history, the project history, whatnot. Sometimes we watch them work. This week's show is one of those Q&A episodes where we've invited two of our senior developers for the project onto the show to answer your questions as submitted on Spectrum. Now, we do have another meeting that we have to go to, so this week's show will be a little shorter than normal. We're probably going to go maybe around 30 minutes of the show, but we do have a lot of
Yeah,
good
that
questions
didn't
about
happen,
pinpoints, so we're gonna
Jared.
jump into it. First, let me introduce our guests. It's these two guys. Say hi.
Hello. Hi.
How are you guys?
Good. Yeah.
Rick, tell everybody who you are and what you do for Star Citizen.
I'm Rick Porter. I am your CIG design director, so just about all the design departments for both Squadron and Star Citizen report to me.
How's that feel?
It is a lot of work day in, day out, but I love it.
Okay. And Ed, who are you and what do you do?
My name's Edward Fuller, and I'm senior principal system designer. Basically means that I work on a variety of game systems. One of those is Jump Points. The other one I help out on Fire as well.
Senior principal. Not a lot of senior
Senior
principals.
principals.
It means you've been here a long time.
That's not just the reason, though.
How'd you get that?
no.
How'd you get that title? You have to call ATC for it.
Yes. No. But there is an aspect of staying here for a long time. But you also
No, you've got a lot of experience.
prove your worth. That's how I think I'd do it.
I was gonna say that's hasn't been my experience. My experience is I've been here doing the same thing for 10 years, and I've had like 7 different titles. The job doesn't change though. They're just trying to figure out what it is that I do and how to file me in the paperwork. Because my job doesn't really exist at a whole lot of other studios. But all right, so today's topic is jump points. They're big.
Thankfully.
They're bad. They've changed visually quite a bit since we showed it to you just a few weeks ago. When they're on, we can't wait till you get into testing. You're going to see how they look even cooler now than they did when we were showing them to you. As for the Q&A shows, we put a thread up on Spectrum. We let folks submit their questions, vote which questions they wanted to see answered most. Over half the questions were just variations of 2 specific questions, which we will get to. We won't hit you with them right off the bat, but rest assured we will get to those 2 questions that represent more than half of all the questions that were in the thread. So let's just jump
Well,
right
we
into it.
hope so, Jared.
Whichever one of you wants to jump on this. The first question is, will players with crime stat be allowed to jump at the Pyro Gateway, as transient jump points will not be in 4.0. Now, obviously, in the show, we introduced this idea of transient jump points, these secondary jump points that come, they go, they connect into the main jump points as a way to kind of circumvent the security. But yeah, without those in 4.0, if I have a crime stat, am I still going to be able to contact the ATC? Is the ATC going to leave me on read? How's this work?
Well, yeah. So
Yeah,
if you have a
I'm going to
CS3
pause and say something dark-sided. A few ships, the Nomad and Gladius, are underestimated ships by a lot. A lot of people like those smaller, more personable ships because they're easier to work with. You know, they're easier to deal with, easier to work with, easier to repair. The Avenger as well. The Gladius is a very underestimated dogfighter. If you know what you're doing, it can really tear up and ruin somebody's day. Absolutely. So yeah, sorry about that.
then ATC will not allow you to make
The
a jump
Gladius
through
is
the
a
jump.
very nice ship.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're out
I have a
murdering
bunch
people,
of other
ATC is gonna
ships
say,
like
"Nah,
it,
we
but
don't want you here. We'll call security and you can."
I might be getting another
so
Gladius
your time.
myself.
So the current plan is that in 4.0,
Yeah.
if you want to go to Pyro and commit all the murder and savagery you have to kind of
clear
clear
your
your
crimes
record
to- yeah.
before you go.
Either never have done it or clear it before you go. And it's also worth pointing out that it's on both sides. That ATC check is on Pyro as well. They guard their border.
So if you're in Pyro and you're murdering and causing all kinds
Well,
of...
no, there's a bit different because in Pyro, right, the jurisdiction isn't all UEE.
Correct. So in Pyro, there's the law enforcement isn't quite what it is
Hello
in Stanton.
over on,
So if you're out
Kick.
murdering people in most places in Pyro, you're
Everyone.
not going to get a crime stat because you're not being monitored. It's not.
Yeah, the Nomad's
what we call
got good
monitored space
utility.
like Stanton is.
But there is a
For its
crime stat of
size,
some sort in Pyro.
especially.
Yes.
Yeah, because there'll be a jurisdiction that covers the jump point and the station on the Pyro side. So say you go around and you're murdering in Pyro. Obviously, you're not actually earning any of those crimes with the UEE. So if you go through, there won't be a problem. But if you then cause a ruckus right outside the jump point there, those will be
Okay,
fines
so-
that will prevent you from going through.
Gotcha. So if you're committing your terror around the proximity of the jump
Exactly,
point and stuff,
exactly.
then yes. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you clear a crime stat in Pyro?
Well, there's a couple potential ways. One, you could get incarcerated by the law
You
enforcement
could be incarcerated.
and
Back to
end up in
Stanton.
jail.
Oh, so
There's a jail in
incarcerated
Pyro?
means
Oh
that
boy.
They end up taking you back to.
That's one way of doing it,
Okay.
I suppose.
Okay.
There are options on the table. We haven't really decided exactly what we're going to do.
All right. All right, well, I'm
It
sure
is
there will
it
be-
is something we're considering different solutions to.
All right, so I'm sure there will be no doubt of.
I bet it's not a
lack of
very
suggestions
friendly
in your two
jail.
comments.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
This goes
We've
to-
we've got some cool new areas in Pyro where
Yeah.
we want people to adventure, and if there happens to be a way to clear a crime stat there, that wouldn't be out of place.
Yeah. And I just want to be really, I really want to be clear of this. Pyro, if we're talking about the entire star system here, like if this is the entire star system, this much is lawless. This much is free form. Do whatever the heck you want. This little area
Yeah, I'm not
that
sure that's small
surrounds
enough.
this little area here that surrounds the jump point. That's where the infrastructure is there. That's where the
It's
people.
absolutely infinitesimal.
Yeah, it's like
absolute
if
size.
you try to cause trouble around that jump point, then that's where you're going to generate a crime stat, and it might be difficult for you to get back.
Yeah,
So
it's just a
Yeah,
foothold
it
there to
sounds
make sure
about
that
right. I mean,
commerce
it
can go
makes
both ways.
sense. But you
Well,
want a
one of the
lawbreaker
two
in
most
your
pressing
law-abiding
questions, one was
system?
about griefing and stuff, so I assume that kind of feeds into that, and we'll hit that again
Yep.
when we come to it. Next question. Will the jump through the jump point consume quantum fuel? And if yes, how much? Be precise, Ed.
Oh, right. Well,
Don't be precise.
using permanent jump points will use quantum fuel. It's going to be like per jump point, it will be fixed, but obviously we only have the jump point between Stanton, Pyro, Pyro, Stanton. But those paired jump points, it will be the same either way.
Hey, Measure, I
haven't
see you.
got a precise number, and it wouldn't be
Yeah.
right for us to
We're still
divulge
balancing that. We're
anyway.
working with the economy.
Good
team
to
make
see you
sure that,
again.
Like whatever amount of fuel that we decide is appropriate is matched up both to our jump drives and to the economy.
If you can, please say something over on that channel.
How much fuel do you need? So you'll never be able to go halfway.
You're going to start a jump.
Yeah.
So the jump drive won't let you go unless you have enough fuel to make make the entire trip.
Exactly. And also there's going to be there's a station, so you can refuel. So if you're naturally going to arrive from QT and you will have burned something, and then you'll arrive, and then if you don't check out, then you can go and refuel, and then you'll be fine.
Yeah. Folks in the chat right now are debating about who owns the jump points. Stanton is the UEE line, but it's actually an independently run system.
Yes.
By the four major corporations, and the UE provides a certain level of security stuff like this. So I don't. We'd have to.
It's definitely their jurisdiction, though.
Yeah.
Like UEE,
It's still part of
UE
the
jurisdiction is
Yeah.
all of Stanton,
Yeah.
and then all the corporations have their own jurisdiction, but they abide by a higher law. So
So they've got a little security at the jump points.
Yep.
I mean, it hasn't done a whole lot of good stopping Xenothreat from getting through all these incursions.
yeah.
the last couple of years. I mean,
Who's to say they're using that jump point?
oh.
Yeah. Not
All right.
wing.
All right. All right, I see what you did there. But yes, looks like we'll consume quantum fuel, and like anything, whatever it is, we're going to go back to Tech Preview Channel.
How are you?
Soon. When we go back to Tech Preview Channel, that value will be one thing. Then when we go live, that value will be something else. And then by the time we hit 4.1, that value will almost certainly be something else. That's part of balance in an MMO and everything. So it's not necessarily something to freak out about. Test it, give us your feedback. Let us know what's too much, what's too low, and stuff like this, and we'll continue to dial it in.
We will almost certainly adjust this many times over the course of the development.
Yeah, you're going to find that
final release.
Yeah, that answer applies to almost every answer you ever hear on Star Citizen Live or ISC. This is a live service MMO game that we're building, so like this. So there isn't anything at this point that I would say is absolutely set in stone. There are things that we have very strong intentions for. There are things we have very strong intentions not to do. So this, but I think we've all been here long enough to know that new people come in with new ideas. Old people are here long enough to have new ideas, to learn things, to learn more than we did when we started here and stuff. So we're never afraid of that better idea. So work with us, we'll work with you, and I think we're all very confident we'll get to this point where it'll be a happy and fun experience. What's stopping us from falling out of the jump tunnel and arriving earlier in the other star system, kind of like a shortcut?
It's not a shortcut by any means. First of all, in order to fall out, you have to take enough damage on your ship that your jump drive overloads and can no longer support, your travel through to the tunnel. So you're gonna take your ship is gonna take damage, wear and tear. Like you're gonna come out of this in not great shape. We're still balancing exactly what that is, but it's not going to be good for you. And then even if you do survive that exit, if your ship's in good shape, you will. But if you survive that exit, you're not going to be where you intended to be. I can't guarantee where you're going to end up, but it's not going to be where you where the
it won't be the
jump point ends
It won't
up.
be the happy part of Pyro.
It's going to be on the edge of space. And if your ship has enough quantum fuel, and if your ship's still in a good enough shape, maybe you could get to where you wanted to go.
I think it's worth noting that while we've been clear
Good
that
to
it's
see you
distortion
again, Measure. I
damage
haven't
that builds
seen you in
up,
a while.
the effects of distortion damage today on ships that are in the PU today versus on ships with the resource network is going to be different.
And wear and tear on components.
Yes. So we as we showed with Fire yesterday on ISC, and if you haven't watched it, watch it.
Oh yeah, you could be on fire.
All these short out, all these component shorts that are that the distortion damage cause can be starting fires.
If you went into a jump tunnel and your ship wasn't in the best shape to begin with, and then you get launched out of that, you may take enough damage from distortion that you have a catastrophic malfunction on your components.
Right?
That's
Lost
just
the
the stuff we're
components,
doing
lost
intentionally. Who
fuse.
knows what's going to happen if we don't intend?
And all of that happens systemically outside of the jump point itself.
It could even be during the jump. You might be like riding the tunnel and picking up distortion, and then some fire breaks.
Don't ride the edge. Stay in the middle. Keep safe.
Keep safe. Fly safe.
How difficult are these jump tunnels supposed to be?
Well, I mean that's
because the few times we've shown them over the years, sometimes it's this crazy.
Yeah, it's appreciated too.
to a certain extent, it's expected to be like a bit of a roller coaster. For the permanent, like the stable ones, like the reason why they're so important.
It
is
is
because
definitely
they're large enough to be
appreciated, man.
stable, and pretty much any ship can get through there.
Yeah, like the highways of commerce.
Yeah, exactly.
They're reliable, right? But it's right. There is a difficulty to every jump tunnel, right? So
Yeah, you can't just
specifically,
coast.
yes. You can't coast. You can't walk away from your seat because you have to fly it. You have to avoid the edges of the tunnel, on the obstacles in the tunnel as well. But the actual difficulty, there's also factors like there's going to be like turbulence in the tunnel. So when you're flying, you'll feel turbulence, and you'll have to contend with this. And smaller ships will have more turbulence, so they'll be contending with it even more. And then you have the larger ships, which will have maybe less turbulence. but then they also have to deal with the obstacles in the tunnel, just as the small ships, and they have less space to maneuver. So there's quite a lot of factors in there, even between ships. Just because it's a massive tunnel doesn't mean the little ship has an easy time. And it doesn't mean just because the bigger one has less turbulence has an easy time either. They have different kind of gameplay experiences. So
is there a place for player skill in 4.0? We're only going to have the one jump
Right.
tunnel.
Yep.
So talking
well,
about
you say
4.0
one,
now.
but they are procedurally generated.
Yeah.
So
But
they're not like
is there a place for
track.
player skill in this? Is this just gonna is this just you have to pay attention and you'll be fine, or is there actually going to be some people who are good at this and some people who are bad at this?
For 4.0, it shouldn't require a lot of skill because this is a permanent, stable jump point, and we're not going to craft the procedural experience to be super tough because we don't want people to be crashing out just going from one system to another on what's supposed to be a major tradeway. Now, when we come to transient ones, that's where it gets spicy.
yeah. I think people will still probably fail, and some of them will choose to fail to have the experience of what fail looks like. But
When we did the episode, this is, to me, having done this for 10 years, I always think this is obvious. And, there's always people who have just joined the project 2 weeks before a show comes out. And I have to remember that's not always obvious. Everything that we show in ISC is work in progress.
You still there,
When we
dark
did the
sided?
episode on jump points, the obstacles weren't
they weren't
there. The obstacles weren't
there,
there. The obstacles weren't there. Will obstacles be there when we launch for 4.0? Is that still our intent?
I just saw a preview of that earlier this week. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in game now. We have
Okay.
that, yeah.
So
Just making sure you're still there.
While it wasn't ready and available to us when we did ISC, but we
I love the
the
Drake
obstacles
duct
that you
tape
saw.
bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can be in different.
They're currently in dev.
Okay, cool. That also goes for folks who watched yesterday's fire episode. By the way, it's like, hey, some random shots could start a fire. Like, yes, if you shoot the thing for like 3.5 minutes, you might be able to start a fire.
Yeah, those
we weren't going to
values-
sit there for 3.5 minutes and just stop the show.
3.5
for
minutes.
shooting
That's
fire. So we
funny.
showed to the last like 3 seconds of it igniting. But again, things that I sometimes think are kind of obvious, just always good. to
The
remind you.
Arrow's a good
Yes, and the thing
ship,
that takes
too.
5 minutes of shooting, you heat it up enough to start the thing. We didn't show you 5 minutes. We showed you the part where you saw the thing happen.
Some of those values are simply to make it easier to debug stuff. To make fire.
Yeah.
It won't.
Let's see. So I think how to word this. Why was is that the one? Did I skip? Oh, how will the different jump drives affect jump point gameplay?
Pardon me. Sorry, I just had a
take
frog
this
in
one.
my throat. Well, no, I mean, do you want to talk about it?
No, go for it.
All right, okay. Okay, so
Should have warned Pete for that. No.
well, I mean, we've already kind of talked about the turbulence in the tunnel. So that ultimately jump drives have an impact on how they fly. So the main ones are like how ships fly. I know I've got something in my. You're gonna have to take this. Blech.
All right, fair enough. So we have different sizes of jump drives, and those more or less correspond to the size of the ships. They will affect.
I will say something
how
controversial
well you are able
that'll
to handle
probably
the
piss people
turbulence
off.
in the jump tunnels.
I'm glad they got rid of the jump drive gates. Or the jump gates. Yeah, the Arrow's agility is awesome. I'm actually glad they got rid of the gates because why limit what you can put into any system? It may make some systems totally inaccessible to your ships. And normally I don't like stuff like that. Like, what if the Carrack's the only ship you got? Right? That's my problem with the jump gate size thing and yada yada, just that's my issue I had with those gates. And also the lore. The lore didn't match up with it. Gates are supposed to be natural. What would Nick Croshaw have thought some 700 years ago when he first discovered the Neso Gate, and there's a gigantic iris or stargate covering on it. He would have phoned it in to the local authorities instead of it being a simple astrophysical anomaly. Just saying.
And now I've got my voice back. It's like also like it's the steering of the ship. It's the yaw, roll, and pitch. You know, the speed and things that because you actually have to fly your ship. You still
The
use
jump drive actually affects your ship handling?
yes, because ultimately you're not when you're in that jump tunnel. It's the experience of controlling your ship is similar to being out in normal space, but your jump drive is allowing you to manipulate your ship in this space that is between
So
space.
the jump drive becomes the engine and the thruster, so in a matter of speaking.
Sort
To an extent.
yeah.
But you got to imagine, like, this jump tunnel is this stream of energy, and if you're not aligned to that stream of energy, you're gonna get pushed the wrong direction. So your jump drive is actively helping you stay aligned to that stream of energy in the tunnel.
Yeah.
And then the different sizes just make that process easier or more difficult, or?
Well, so there's also ultimately there's this distortion, right? And that's effectively acts as your health to whether you can actually survive getting through the tunnel or not. So right now we're playing with the numbers, right? So it could be that all the drives have the same sort of distortion pool for the first release, and then in the future we're going to have more jump drives, so there's going to be more variety. And they may have larger pools, but then you'll have better maneuvering on that one, or so there's balance there, and there's sort of interplay between the parameters. So player choice will still be a factor of choosing which jump drive is suitable for the way you play.
A question I didn't see in the Spectrum list, but I've seen a couple times in Twitch chat. Good job, Twitch chat. Combat inside the jump tunnel. No. Well, I know. We know to sync up, and you have to switch to nav mode, and
That's true.
And that's going to disable your weapon system. But once you get in there,
If you switch out of nav mode while you're in the tunnel, you will get booted out.
That's
and
a
take
fail.
damage.
Yeah, it's a fail.
Interesting.
Any time your jump drive turns off is a fail.
oh, because switching
because
out
it
of
must be
nav
tuned
mode.
and it must remain tuned for the entire experience. So it's systemic, right? If it turns off for any reason, it could be distortion that turns its functionality off, or it could be it sets fire, or it could, someone could sabotage it. It could be anything, but it's the same thing. It fails.
Now, we've got a ship. What's one of those ships that have like the big loading area in the front? The Ironclad. Obviously, the Ironclad's not in 4.0, but now you've got 5 dudes out the front of your ship with railguns. Like, I'm not locked down by nav mode, bitches.
Well,
And they start firing at the guy in front of them, guy or gal in front of them.
Sounds like something
that sounds
we
like
need to test.
something we need to try. But maybe it's fine.
They're talking about the ground rules,
fine.
Brian.
I mean,
It's just one of those things that systemically, like, we're going to have to prove out how it works. But like, weapons I don't expect to function the way you might expect in the
that's
in the tunnel, simply because of the physical mechanics are different.
could be ballistic trajectories change in there. I mean,
Once it leaves the zone of your ship, like
What's up with you, Brian?
I'm just going to say that, when this goes back to...
Hey, I
when this goes
haven't
back
seen
to,
Jim in a bit. What's he
test
up
realm,
to?
Whatever, I can't remember what it's called right now.
PTU.
Preview channel.
Avocado?
When this goes back to preview channel and stuff, the first time people go through, they're going to yay, jump points, yeah, I got from one system to the other. Now let's try to kill people.
Sure,
that's what happens 5 minutes after.
Yeah, but the
now
thing-
they go in, they start loading people up with rail guns and...
Sure, but the current design that is anything that leaves the zone of your ship gets booted
Oh
out.
my.
So like
Everybody.
if projectiles leave the zone of your ship, they should theoretically get booted out of the tunnel.
But it hasn't been tested.
So if
folks,
you
it's
open
on
fire
have
with
a
your
lot of acting to
weapons, or your weapons, your enemy opens fire on you in a jump tunnel, they automatically get booted. Okay,
No, that's the whole
that's
point. If it doesn't have a
fair,
jump drive and it wasn't tuned from the start, it's gonna
because they
fail.
leave the navigation.
We'll try it, people. I want to know. They don't sound like they know, do they? They haven't tried it. Try it. Let me know.
But by the time they play it, we will have done it.
Oh, sure. Okay, fine.
Sure.
We'll have
ruined
decided
it
what
for
we're
them.
doing.
If I brought it up and ruined it for you all right now, I'm sorry, everybody.
But I'm sure there'll be some edge cases we don't catch.
Okay. Why was a 2D entry point system where we sit here waiting for my turn to jump without shields, please grief me, system chosen for jump point access instead of the 3D sphere several million kilometers wide where people can enter at all directions? This is the question this is one of the two questions that was basically half of all the questions. It's why have we decided, I'm going to put it another way to be more succinct. Why have we decided to group everybody right in one place, right in front of the jump point, and have them sitting there waiting for their turn? It seems we're making a smorgasbord.
there's a
I mean, I think your analogy right there, like holding that up, is like the perfect way, because that's literally the mechanic of it. Like you've got your tunnel, your jump point tunnel, and you can't see it, but as soon as that opens up, that's your entry, and you can't enter from over here or over here. You have to go through the doorway.
You have to go through
It's
this
actually a physical
certain orifice.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but now that
That's the tunnel. Yeah.
So if that's why people have to enter from one specific direction because it's
Otherwise, they have a
physical
problem.
what do
space.
we answered the question a little bit. Automated turrets.
Well,
Anybody who's played Star Citizen for any period of time knows that automated turrets haven't had the greatest success rate.
I think
So you're going to get into the griefing.
That's what this question
well,
really is.
it's
This question
fine.
is
It's
really
fine.
about the griefing.
I think we could probably just start from the top. Get away from the jump.
Answer the
point
question,
itself.
dude. Yeah, I
Talk
agree,
initially, 'cause you have-
Darkseid.
everyone's queuing
Answer the
outside, they're just
damn
queuing in front of
question.
it, sitting ducks, ready to be
Why
shot.
do you want everybody to die?
That isn't the case, though. So when you arrive and you're going to be QTing towards the station before the jump point's off to the side, right? So you're going to be arriving there, and you're going to call the ATC, right? So when you call the ATC, and let's say they do put you into a queue, you're already quite some distance away from the jump point. And as long as you're within range of the ATC, you're in the queue. And the range expands past the station and past the jump point. So this is a huge range. And in that space, you can be in SCM or nav, you can be buzzing around, you can be tens of kilometers away from anyone else. You can put space between yourself, and you're still in the queue. You're still in the queue as long as you don't leave that really big range.
You don't have to stay in nav
You
mode.
don't have to stay in nav mode.
Okay.
You can defend yourself from people. That's a misnomer that you have to go cool and then sit in a big line ready to be shot at. That's not the case.
Okay.
So that's the first major change. It's not
Okay,
change, but
whatever.
That's a clarification of exactly how it works.
That's
After that,
not
yes,
what
we-
we're
then you want
hearing, though, dude.
turrets and AI. There's definitely
Turrets.
AI Navy ships there. There's definitely turrets. Yeah, I know. I shot myself in the foot. But that's what it is, right? These things are in our game, and they are.
Jared's
gonna be
about
fun.
to have
I'm
a
sure,
smoke
maybe
break.
more potent or something.
Well, the
Up for
thing
grabs.
is we want to keep the world as much of a simulation as possible. It's
Cat, I'm going to pause here for a second. Oh my God, you're so fun. And Darksided, yeah, that's about the first non-answer I've heard in a long time. And I totally agree with your comment. That literally sounded like what he said. It's about the best answer anybody could come up with who's a politician. That is accurate. That is accurate. That is the biggest non-answer. Oh my gosh. Woo! Yeah, this is good. Yeah. Bro, just answer the damn question. Like, really? Is it so hard? I mean, seriously.
it's a dangerous verse out there, but we don't want to make it punishing for people who just want to like
The pain on that
for
one
instance.
guy's face
So
in
we're
that
gonna have
frozen
things to
frame.
protect the player there, whether that's turrets or AI. And if those security ships and those turrets aren't cutting it, we will, take more drastic measures, whether that's like zones of protection or shielding or like whatever it takes to make the game fun. That's our goal.
Okay. On top, in addition to that, adjunct to that, the question of the ATC itself, because not everybody reads Spectrum. I know you addressed this question like the weekend after the episode went out, but let's talk about why the ATC is part of this process.
Well, okay, I'm going to have to remember what I wrote.
Just make something new up.
Make something new up. Okay, I didn't make it up when I wrote it.
Well,
down,
I'm going to take this.
Yeah, please do. 'Cause
I mean, the ATC is there for the permanent stable jump points. They're there because the powers that be, in this case, the UE security forces that are controlling this to maintain law and order in the system, they've set up shop, and they are like controlling people's jump drives, so they can't attune to the
They're the
portal
local
within that
gate
sector
security.
unless they give them permission.
All
That's the
you
whole purpose
gotta
of the
say.
ATC. It's like your jump drive on your ship, when it comes within the radius of these stable, controlled jump points, it's controlled by ATC. You literally can't attune to the jump point unless AT gives you the right to do so.
I think that's probably the biggest disconnect. One of the newest pieces of information that came in the episode is that there are two distinctly different kinds of jump points.
Yes.
Before we had this distinction of sizes, but they were all considered to work the same. Now this is two functionally different. They're both generated by spooling up your drive and generate, but one is, like you said, the highway. It is a civilized, tamed experience by humanity or the Xi'an or whatever system you're going to. It's a tamed, civilized experience, and the other one is still akin to the Old West. There's no ATC, there's no anything. You find it, you spool it up yourself. Go when, who knows where you end up, kind of thing.
And I think that's a good point, is that for right now, we're just talking about UE controlled space. The way jump points work in other systems, that's very much TBD.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. We are talking about this specific jump point between
Which is
Stanton
in
and
United
Pyro.
Empire of
Obviously,
Earth
there's a
territory.
tremendous narrative reason why the UEE would not want this jump point to just be open. Would not want this jump point to just be a free
it's
mode
their
of travel.
border. It's their border. They protect their border. I mean, obviously, past experience demonstrates they're not very good at protecting their borders. But as Rick said, they might come from somewhere else, and they're actually really good with this jump point. It's just that the other ones come from somewhere else.
Thanks to jump points, like the universe is a bit of Swiss cheese, right? So, but there's the stable ones, those that they know about, those that are consistent. Those are the ones that they can at least maintain some control over. So that's where they invest.
Okay. And then So we had already hit it before, but the next question was basically about gate campers and stuff. So just to revisit this real quick. So as far as protective measures, turrets, automated turrets, we're hopeful. Obviously, automated turrets up to this point have been dependent, like a lot of AI systems are, on.
Hey, I'm going to say this: missile turrets in addition to cannon turrets, guys. Come on.
Server performance. One of the things that we're very hopeful for is that with 4.0, with the advent of server meshing, with the distributed load of these things across multiple servers, that kind of performance will improve. People who have played on Tech Preview saw how much deadlier AI was when they played against them. People who have jumped into a new server that hasn't degraded can tell stories about how absolutely devastating the AI can be. So it is one of our hopes but this will bear out through testing and whatnot, is that through the advent of server meshing and distributing that load across multiple servers, AI turrets will perform much better than they have in the past.
AI, I mean, if they have enough server performance on their side, they are lethal.
Yeah. But then, if that's not enough, like you said, there are other avenues. We don't want to just hit it with a big heavy hammer right out the bat. We want to try to build up. Some part of this is intended to be dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. If we were so prescriptive from the start, it would completely eliminate some area of gameplay. Like we could do that, and then it would completely nullify something. But we like to kind of work the other way and try to maintain some of it, but also not, letting the griefers win the whole thing, right? So,
And we've got some technologies that the players already know about, like green zones and stuff that can be implemented. We also have, not that we want to, I see your face. We also have some technologies we haven't shared yet that we're hopeful to come online that might also apply to that. I don't want to spoil that there, but it's one of those things I just want to.
we know.
There are people here. There are people who work here who want absolute carnage. I'm not going to lie to you. There are people who work here who just want blood and fire and death. And
Doom! Doom!
then there are people like me who I tend to be, treasury and secretary of the Care Bear family.
Human's good though,
just to tell you who I am
Jared.
as a player. So I tend to be like, let's preserve the experience. Let's make things as fair as possible. Whatever. Like anything else, the answer is going to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So we're starting a little closer to here, and then if it's too much, we'll adjust. We'll find it.
Part of my job as a design director is to make sure that the game is fun for everybody. If you want to be a griefer, I'm going to give you that experience, but the people that don't want to be grief, they need to have a safe place, and they need to know where they can go to be safe. And we need to make sure that there's places in the verse for them.
And a good example of that is the big changes to the space stations we're going to talk about next week's SCL. Green zones on Pyro space stations, but then the creation of contested zones. So there are areas for safety and security, even in Pyro. And then there are areas for absolute carnage and chaos and stuff like that. So, next question. It was mentioned in the ISC that exiting the wormhole will be a sort of shotgun approach to minimize collisions. We all remember in those first tech previews, just to minimize collisions and reduce the impact of gate camping. But how will this shotgun approach affect groups intending to coordinate their efforts, such as orgs jumping in to remove gate campers? Will partied up ships arrive closer together than unaffiliated ships, or will everyone be at the mercy of any clusters of enemies in their exit vector?
Good question.
Potentially far from allied assistance.
Okay,
That's
so
a very long question.
So yeah, it's a really long question, but
I think I came up with this analogy. I might have anyway, but you've been working on the details. So how's it actually going to work?
all right. So obviously, you're coming to the end of your jump tunnel. Everyone's coming out of the same exit point, right? So they're all going to come out, and they're all going to be in the same vicinity, the same sort of region of space. The point that was being made with this shotgun approach, or shotgun effect, or whatever it was we said, is that it's really it's that we have a slight divergence of the paths of those ships as they emerge, and the whole point of that is they're still going to be in roughly the same bit of space. They're going to be like maybe a kilometer across from each other or something like that, within spitting distance of each other. Basically, it was just that divergence. The shotgun is the divergence which allows them to not rear-end each other on exit. It's not that you come out all over the place and then you're like,
I'm not going to be able to see
where are
anybody.
you? Where are you? Yeah, it's not going to be like that. You're going to be there with your friends and everyone else who came through. And if you need to put up some kind of defense, then you will be all around each other to do that.
So for folks traveling in groups, I mentioned that when you call ATC, you'll be able to see how many people are in the queue. You can wait, and you get in the queue with your friends and whatever. So when you arrive, you will still be in close enough proximity with your friends to help each other out and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is not going. Yes. Everybody afraid that there might be people who don't care about their crime. Say, I live in Pyro now. I'm never going back to Stanton. It's like there will be those people. There will be those people who are like, I haven't been to Stanton in 6 months. It's like F that place. It's like So they're going to be there to try to cause problem.
Sure.
It's where it's a good reminder that we are making a.
There's also multiple exits, though. It's worth saying. There's multiple exits to the exit.
What do you mean multiple? Oh.
So there's multiple points around the area where you exit to. So no one can just be like, oh well, they're definitely going to come out there.
Sure. Like we've got that anti-camping.
They can come out there.
Yeah.
Lots of places.
Well, I think that goes
they're
back
still
to
in the vicinity, but it's still.
Okay, because that was the question. Because everybody.
So it's like a river delta.
wildly.
not just a
apart.
river tributary going
Wildly,
into a
like hundreds
river
of kilometers
arm.
away, sort of apart. You're going to come
Multiple
out in the same
paths, like the
place,
Mississippi
but
River
not
Delta.
like
Well,
different places.
I think the
I'm
response
good with
to
that.
would be if I'm close enough, if I'm going to be close enough to my friends, then it should still be anticipated enough for somebody who's made this jump a dozen times to be able to figure out the
Yeah,
general idea.
sure, but they have to look in a lot of places.
I mean,
I know what you're saying.
No.
I know what you're
It's
saying.
a thing that it'll get borne out through the testing.
Yeah,
It's one of those things where we could spin our wheels worrying about it right now. And reality is we just got to get it in there and see how it is, and we'll adjust it if necessary. And one of those things that you said. It's not one of those things that's worth getting entirely worked up about right now. It's wait for the tech preview, wait for the testing, and see if it becomes a problem that we determine is too much, we'll adjust.
yeah. And so you're also going to come out in monitored space. UE has a presence in Pyro.
Yeah.
So like unless somebody's attacking that jump point, you shouldn't be in immediate peril anyway.
And you can just press all the crimes to them. I know that you could say, oh, they're never going to leave, but
Yeah.
there's things in Stanton that Pyro doesn't have.
Yes. Sorry, I was just reading Blue Minx in chat, who's always a delight in Twitch chat.
Okay. Well,
It's like early days, work in progress. Yeah, it's early days for this. Like it's every new feature. It's the early days for that. It's like there's this idea that happens. I'm gonna take like oh, I used my swear.
Oh, rant time.
I'm gonna take a minute here for some Jared time here. There's this idea, and it doesn't apply to any game in the history of game development where everything is worked on simultaneously. Where it's like, oh, jump points have been worked on since 2012. They haven't. They haven't. When we showed them in 2019, the idea is that they've been worked on continuously since 2019, since we first showed them. They haven't. It's we work on the thing that is in this next upcoming release, and then the thing that's in that release after that. And after that, it's like, you focus on what's in front of you and stuff like this. So it's when we say things like it's early days, we're talking about that feature because until it's out, until the first version of it is out, that is the meaning of that term and stuff like this. So it's
my leg.
it's bad faith to take that term and apply it to everything and whatnot. No, the project is not early days. But when we talk about this feature, we're talking about jump points. Yeah. This is the start of implementing the next major milestone.
Hit my
for
leg on
Star
something.
Citizen. And we've
Darn
never
it.
done it before. We're doing it now for the first time. So that's the definition of early days, whatever. So, but yes, the thing to take away, as I've said a couple times, is we're going to try a thing. You're going to give us feedback. We're going to look at that feedback. Then if a change is mandated, we're going to make a change. That's how that works. That's how that works. We've got, there's even changes to master modes coming up. We're not quite ready to talk about it. We're testing a couple different things and whatnot now. That's how the process works. So we do a thing, you give us feedback. You do a thing, you give us feedback. But the doom and gloom stuff doesn't really help. All right, that's my aside. Ed, I don't know. I just decided this was your question. What happens if you kill a crew member or pilot during a jump? Where do they respawn?
yeah, so if anyone dies through misadventure whilst in a jump tunnel, then you will simply respawn wherever you last registered your spawn point.
Gotcha. So if I
Wherever that is.
if I make it to Pyro and I go through and I have some adventures and whatever, and then I die if I haven't locked a new spawn point somewhere in Pyro.
And back you go, yeah. But even in that tunnel, right? So if you registered in Stanton and you're like, oh, this is great. I'm almost to Pyro, and then you kill yourself. Well, it doesn't matter. You're not going to Pyro. You're going back to Stanton.
Which is how it works today. You don't,
Yeah. It's just
you don't just respawn at the nearest space station or whatever. You respawn where you've registered.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly,
how the system is intended to work.
But equally, you could have also registered yourself at your medical Ursa inside your ship, and
I kind of knew that would be the
so
case,
you don't
but
have
we'll
to go
see.
back if you were prepared for that, I suppose.
It's called nursing.
I don't want to say it. I'd say at work, which I'm kind of at work, but I don't want to say it here. It feels weird.
Can you tow ships through a jump point?
No, you can tow ships through quantum jumps, but you can't tow a ship through a jump tunnel.
I asked you again, why do you hate fun?
Well,
Why do you hate
it's
fun?
a systemic thing, right? Because nothing can be in the jump tunnel that wasn't tuned to it and stays attuned to it.
That
for the
makes sense.
entirety of the
Okay,
time to
that
get to
does
the other
make
side.
sense.
If we let you do that, you'd be towing a ship that it would instantly fail.
Sure. It's what I was saying earlier. Anything that's not in your ship's zone is not considered part of your ship, so it gets booted out.
This is one of those things that happens when you develop systemically and not just create a bespoke feature for every little thing.
And if you want to take another ship through, a jump tunnel, a jump point, there's other ways to do that. Like
Bring it inside you.
that's one way, yes.
Can the ATC play Jump by Van Halen on the first jump each person makes? I'm not even going to answer. Yes. Yes, it can.
And you just signed on for the licensing, I'm assuming?
Yep. I'm going to go talk to the
Coming out of
audio
your
team now.
paycheck?
Yeah, it comes out of your paycheck. That one.
It's if you do it on your own, yes, you can. You have the power. All right, so that does it for our 4.0 questions. We're going to end up using the full hour anyway. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, we're for long haul.
It's all
Sorry.
right. That meeting can wait.
Let's. What are they going to do? They come in and stop us? Let's go. Some of these questions were beyond. We're for the future of jump points. So let's touch a little bit of these. That brings us to the big jump gate in the room. The most asked question.
Ah, yes.
Are there any plans to reintroduce the big jump gate structures, or is this entirely off the table?
I mean, this kind of gets back to what you're saying earlier. Back in 2019, when I first joined the company, we were doing some previs, checking out what we thought looked cool, and what made sense for Star Citizen. I mean, the end result is we decided to go away from that jump gate ring visual because we didn't think it made sense for the way we envision jump points working in Star Citizen. They're not something that are maintained by human technology. You can't create one, you can't maintain one, you can't make one larger. There's no technology for that
No
currently
problem,
in the
Dark
system.
Side.
And that with that visual.
Hey, I
in
understand
mind, it
completely.
didn't feel consistent
Well, they're
to
just
have that
now
kind of
talking about
architecture
jump
around it.
gates and why they moved on from
Those
it.
are all narrative choices. Those are all
absolutely.
choices we've made for the project.
It's a creative decision. Absolutely.
We just don't like them.
No, I mean, I liked it. I know a lot of people did really like it. There's something very iconic about that kind of Stargate ring, for instance. But for the way we're envisioning jump points to work in Star Citizen, it just didn't feel right. And so we made that call.
Yeah, I mean, you could also look at it this way. If you were looking at it even in a law sense, if someone had to build a gate structure to make a permanent jump point, and you jump to a system that no one has ever been to. So the permanent jump point on that side still works, even though who built the gate?
Yeah, there's
So
those,
it's
there's
not-
those kind of
it's not
logical
like, doesn't-
inconsistencies that makes it difficult, and there's also the
I know
fact
you-
that we're not some other games where we have this ancient alien race that left behind a bunch of
Yeah, old
technology,
stuff,
and
yeah.
there's a number of reasons why we felt that it was inconsistent for Star Citizen, the lore and the creative decisions we want to make, and at the end of the day, right now, we don't think it's appropriate.
Now, there are two. One of the things you said there was right on. You said right now. As I said earlier in the show, we've all been here now long enough to know that whatever the intention and the thought and the plan is today doesn't mean that it won't change. Doesn't mean that one of us
Right.
won't have a different idea. Doesn't mean that that through the natural process of growth and learning and stuff that we won't come to a different decision later. So this is not to say that they will never come back. But at this
Well, there is a system with a black hole, Dark Side, called TAMSA. It's down near Banshee, I guess. So there might be a possibility of that. Just saying. There might be a real possibility of what you're talking about. Yeah. TAMSA's out toward Banshee. So we'll have to wait and see about that.
on this day, August, is it August? August 9th,
It is the 9th.
2024, there are no intentions whatsoever of bringing them back at this point.
Right.
I do find it interesting. This has been an interesting one because in the course of doing this for a decade, it's very common, and it's not altogether unjustified to say that a lot of decisions that Star Citizen has made are very visually driven as opposed to gameplay driven or sorry, not all. Some there are some things that get lumped into that are unfair, but there are plenty of things we've deserved over the years a certain amount of criticism for prioritizing looks over functionality and stuff. And this is the first time in the history of the project that I can think of, and I've been thinking about this since we aired the episode, where that has been reversed. There is no gameplay use for these. There's no gameplay function for these rings at all, because they're strictly an aesthetic.
Yeah.
They would.
And people are very passionate about it. People
They
want
can
it.
also make problems, though. You know, having rings like that could make problems. It could make effectively blind spots, griefable positions. There's actually, they could create more problems by having this.
Any design decision we make ends up having knock-ons of some
Yeah,
sort.
absolutely. Everything has an
I just think it's yeah. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. This has been there aren't a whole lot of entirely new situations left to be discovered, and us pulling a visual thing back, and then getting and having that upset some folks is a new experience for us visually. Obviously not.
I mean,
it's
also like the jump point itself has had lots of visual treatment on its VFX. It feels a little bit disingenuous to say taking away the gate is like taking away the jump point, because
There's tons of
so
work
much work has gone into like the visuals of it, and
it's pushed farther even than when we saw in ISC.
Yeah. Just because we didn't go this way doesn't mean that the way that we are going doesn't have the same amount of love poured into it to make it, you know, the best it can be.
So yeah, it's like I said, just to wrap it up. Nobody who wants it and appreciates it is wrong or anything.
Oh, God.
It's if I'm being absolutely truthful, I prefer it with the thing. I literally watching through Jump Gate Atlantis right now, and I like it, but
It's a cool aesthetic. There's a lot of people that like it, both fans and people here.
yeah, but it is. There has been a movement. It's subtle. We've only had one major release so far, but there's been a change inside Star Citizen development that I hope will become more apparent as more releases
Simple
go out.
astrophysical
that
anomaly.
of
Just saying.
more focus on gameplay, more focus
Sorry,
on
chat.
performance, more
Hit a
focus
button.
on systemic natures, and less being driven by purely eye candy.
Absolutely.
And this is one of those things. Like I said, we've only had one patch since this thing, so it's not completely evident yet. But I believe that as we get 3.24 out and 4.0 and stuff like that, people will start to see that we've turned a corner. I think we're never going to give up the visuals. Like
No.
this is good. This is always a gorgeous game.
And you can't have good gameplay without those visuals either.
Yeah, but we're trying to balance that now, and I think that's part of what this is. It's like we don't need that. Let's see if we can do it without it. Let's see how it plays without it. Let's see if we can make an experience that's rewarding for players without it. And our intention is not to bring them back. But neither one of us are going to sit here and look down the camera and say they will never come back because we've all worked here too long. There's too many possibilities for change.
The verse is way too large.
Yep. All right. Is the unified jump point size system a permanent solution, or will we see small, medium, large jump points make a return in the future?
Right now, the intention is, well, I mean, like, let's just break that down. Let's break it down, right?
Yeah, we know they're there for transient. We don't
Yeah,
need to talk about
transient,
it.
they're all
We're
different
talking
sizes.
permanent.
Permanent ones, right now, the first one is large, and that's our
Yeah.
intention, and I'm sure you're going to tell. So,
Sure. Like the intention is
The
that
backpedal
the
or
reason
whatever.
why the permanent ones are so important is because they are one size fits all, and that's currently the intent. Whether in the future we have stable ones that are different sizes, time will tell. But for now, the reason why those are so important, the reason why they're maintained by ATC is because they are the most.
They're
useful.
well traveled.
Yeah.
They're basically the main highways.
We didn't really want to. Don't really want to like prevent people from going to places just because their ship's large. And
Thank you.
that's also true.
Thank you.
I think
He finally said something smart today. That's exactly what I've been saying. What if the only ship you have is a freaking Carrack? And you want to get to one station, but you don't have the fuel to jump clear across the verse to get to the system you want to explore. Seriously. That right there was beautifully said. I completely agree with it. That is the smartest thing I've heard out of CIG in a while. And it makes sense. Because you don't want to block it off to people who have only larger ships. Small ships, they're going to have trouble anyways getting from point A to point B. But what about your aircraft carriers, huh? You know, your carriers. Your carriers for your smaller ships, folks. Right? You're going to have to load up your small ships and take the long way around to a jump point that only it can handle. Well, they're effectively removing that, making it far easier to transport your fleets, which I'm okay with. I am so okay with. You understand what I'm saying, right? Dark Side?
One is worse.
That's why I'm so excited about this, because I have a Liberator and an Idris. I have some really large ships. So, yeah. I need as many big jump points as possible for my big ships. And that is probably a good reason to have them open like that. Smaller ships are going to have their own problems because of range. Range they can't travel. Thank you.
element of making sure that you had the right ship, that you brought the right ship for the particular journey. I think when people lament the one size fits all thing, they lament the loss of a strategic element of interstellar travel.
Yeah, and that's fine when we have more jump points and there's more than one way to reach a system, and like some are longer, some are harder, some are easier, like depending on your ship. Like there may be the right jump point for you, but for the main ones that we need, like those arteries to connect the universe, like we want to make sure that those are consistent.
Okay, so that's an idea. There's an idea that I hadn't considered yet. So while all the jump points are capable of fitting every ship, depending on the strength of the current inside and the amount of obstacles and stuff, you may still want a ship of a different size.
Absolutely.
And that instead of that being mandated by us, that's a choice that we now put in the hands of the player.
Exactly.
So that's a good way to come at that. Good answer, Rick.
Thanks.
Good thinking.
My job, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're just jumping way out into the future. We're going to fill the hour. I'm sorry. Just tell the producers I'm sorry. Okay. If they were going to fire me by now, they'd do it. What can you tell us about how
Jared,
transient
stop.
jump points will be
No.
used in the future?
That, I think
I mean,
you're taking a
yeah. So
more information on that.
that sort of exploration of transient jump points is something that I'm pretty excited about, because I want to build more like places of interest in the universe in general, and the jump points are a cool one, because like we want to have this kind of Swiss cheese effect of like you can go from like one system to another in various ways. Like we were just talking about, like having a variety of different jump points that fit different ships. But how you discover those, like a jump point has a radar signature, and just like every radar signature, that signature is unique, and so different radars can have better sensitivity to different types of signatures.
I will
and
be,
different
hang on,
radars.
chat. I'm going to be right back. Be right back. I will be right back, chat. Come back, come back. I'm back. Back, chat. Whew. I'm back. Somehow. All right. Sorry about that. We'll finish up here.
Can give you different information about those signatures, like how strong it is, how far away it is, like how long the tunnel is, how big the tunnel is. Like there's a lot of stuff that we could potentially give about like those transient jump points when we have a lot more of them, and finding them with the right radar and the right ship. Like I expect that our exploration ships, like the Carrack, for instance, which is our flagship exploration ship, I expect that to once we build up these radars that are specifically created for exploration to find things like jump points, they will be tuned to find those at greater distances to give you more information. So that's where we're heading with that.
One of the major talking points, our ISC on Resource Network ahead of 4.0 is in 4 weeks, maybe. I'm flying to Germany to shoot it here real soon. One of the talking points is if folks remember many years ago, 2017, 2018, John Crew and I wrote a series of articles for the website called The Shipyard, where we broke down the future of ship development and the component system and performance versus military versus blah blah stuff. A big chunk of that is finally being realized alongside the resource navigation system. So we're now, after talking about it so long, we're now here at the true start of this journey of swappable components and deciding what kind of quantum drive, what kind of thrusters, what kind of this and that you put on your ship to specifically tune the stuff like that. And radar will be one of those. I don't think the swappable radar's in 4.0, but.
No, like, but when we start doing transient jump points, we will absolutely retrofit like our different ships to have those radars. Like we want our exploration ships to be able to find those more easily. So we'll absolutely do that.
Or just provide more radars to swap out, as opposed to going back and retrofitting the ships. It's just
Well, yeah, it's not so much retrofitting.
Adding the components that players can swap out themselves.
Like those radars don't exist right now, but we will create them specifically for the transient.
Just don't want the red thread. Oh my gosh, Rick committed to another spaceship revamp. How many is this? 17?
I'll swap out the radar.
Yeah, who cares? I'm just.
Last question. Will dynamic jump points stay open long enough to log and sell their existence for profit and then reuse them multiple times?
Yeah, of course. But basically, like this question is basically saying like you don't want to have them for too short a period of time, so that they're useless. Well, yeah, we know, right? So they're going to be like. We haven't got the numbers, but it's definitely in the minimums in the sort of hours. So hours is a useful period of time to be able to use something, reuse something, sell something. That's sort of the minimum. And then it goes up
Hours?
from there.
I'd rather
And
have a
everything in
few
between.
days, thank
So-
you.
That's something to say. We're known for doing all these global events.
Yep.
Xeno Thread and whatever. There's absolutely nothing. that
Hours?
says we
That's
can't
kind of lame.
have a transient jump point show up and
Folks.
take us to a new kind of
Oh,
global event.
absolutely,
To a global event,
yeah.
and it's there for the whole week when that's happening. And it's
Absolutely,
yeah, the event's going.
And then it's
One of you
really
dudes have to find
gone. And then you can't get there because it's actually gone.
it. And realizing I probably wasn't supposed to share that.
I wouldn't say we don't have plans for that.
Well, wait, yeah, I'll just shush.
I'll just
There's
hush.
a lot of cool things that we can do with jump points. I'm really excited to add those transient ones in the future because they do add a lot of variety, and we could
Delete the VOD.
potentially add as many as we want.
Too bad,
So
I
it should be
already
exciting.
got it.
Not for 4.0 though. I'm not trying to. There are no transient jump points in 4.0 because I know there's people. That's not being coy. That's me being honest and real with you. One jump point in 4.0.
Well, one either side.
One two-way jump point. Well, they go like
Paired.
so I guess
They're
one
paired.
pair of jump points.
Two one-way jump points.
Because Rick doesn't want people crashing into each other because he also hates
Greetings. New Twitch follower. How are you today? Thank you for the follow.
fun. That's it. Congratulations, gentlemen. You survived another Star Citizen Live. Rick, you were here for so long before you did any of these, and now you're
Yeah.
slowly
Just
becoming.
dragging me right in. I like it.
Ed, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with us. And there's probably going to be one of these on Fire where we follow up in another month. So we'll probably.
I feel like I've had enough.
We'll probably see.
You've had enough of
It's
me.
not going to be for like another month. So
Yeah.
So you got some time before we bring you back. For those watching at home or in their cars or whatever, be sure you check out yesterday's Inside Star Citizen on Fire. Lots of cool information on that. I do want to mention that just like when we did our jump points and we didn't have the obstacles ready to show because we put work in progress down there. It's always work in progress. And for the fire show yesterday, we didn't have all the smoke effects that the folks wanted. We saw a little bit of it at the end. We were able to get a little bit of it at the end. Smoke is there. It's gorgeous. It can obscure everything. It makes fire 10 times more scary. We'll let you discover that on your own when you get to tech preview and stuff. So rest assured that's in. And then come back next week on SCL. We'll have Con and George and Manuel Hyder from the level design team will be following up on the contested zones and asteroid bases that we talked about last week on ISC. They'll be here. There'll be a thread on Spectrum. You can submit your questions on Monday. And then on ISC, we go down to the surface side of Pyro for a look at social gameplay. All the things there are to do that isn't carnage and chaos. And there's actually more than one. We filled the whole episode of it. So check that out. I didn't mean to like nervously gulp there. That was entirely. I don't know what that was, but no, it's coming along real cool. We're gonna introduce you to the Headhunter Gang and the brand new Citizens for Prosperity. They were called Citizens for Pyro for a while. I think they're called Citizens for Prosperity now. I got so much information in here. I don't remember what's about. So be sure to check that out. Thanks for watching. That was Rick. That was Ed. I'm Jared. We might do a raid. I don't know if there's a raid. Say hi to whoever we raid to. Be nice and take care, everybody. And I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Honestly, there was a lot of good information in this IS or SEL. I kind of was guessing, you know. However, you know, like most things, we had to realize subject to change, you know. I'm like everybody else, you know, it's just, you know, subject to change, you know. You know how stuff works, folks. It's either subject to change or it materializes differently. Yeah, hey Jim. Yeah, 324 is really bad. I've been limiting my time in there a lot. Severely limiting my time in 324. For that reason, I'm letting them fix things before I do serious work. You know? Uh-huh. Oh! Oh! Hang on. Guys, we just got a new ship preview. Guys, you're not going to believe it. New ship preview. I think it might be the mystery ship everybody's been drooling over. Hang on. I'm going to pull it up right now if I can. Where is it? Show me. New Crusader ship. Look at this. Open in browser. It looks small. Hang on. Really small. Like, hang on. I'll see if I can get it. Window capture. Look at this, guys. It looks Ares inspired. Especially the, it's definitely, I think we called it, guys. Yeah, look at this, Measure. Look at this. Look at this. We have a winglet. We have a side of a wing. Oh. Is it black? Screen is black. Is it black on YouTube? I see an engine. Yeah. Let's see if I can brighten it a little bit. No, it's not. It's not a Carrack. They said black. It's really dark. Let me double check if it's not showing up on YouTube for some reason. There we go. It definitely looks It looks Crusader to me. Ares, you know, Ares Ion inspired maybe. This just dropped from you know, the this is sneak peek of the week. So I don't even know what this ship is. Unknown user. See, look at the wings. It's got this winglet. So is it like this with the wings kind of folded in at an angle? Right? Yeah, it does, but this could be the Crusader starter ship, which would be really weird. It definitely has the same grating and pipes that the MSR has. See what I'm saying? This is the only image we got so far, but it looks like a finished image to me. What do you guys think? Yeah, sadly, this is the only image it looks like. Yeah, I'm hoping it is. I don't think Crusader has a starter ship unless you want to include the what are they? The spirits? But $115 is really more the medium price range, right? Because if you're gonna spend 115 bucks, that's kind of more or less the medium ballpark price range for a ship. It definitely has MSR styling. Yeah, I would definitely do that. A lot of my friends are thinking it's a Crusader ship. But like I said, we're going to have to see Dark Side. There's a lot of design elements from it, but we'll have to see. Yeah. Like everything else, subject to change. Yeah. Did anything else? Is it the Zeus? Doubtful. It doesn't look right. The winglets on the Zeus do this. This is doing this. Plus, the Zeus doesn't have any of this piping, does it? Hold on. Hold that thought, though. Zeus MR. Zeus MR. I am curious about that. Let's find out. You know, you might be onto something, Jim. We'll double check. No, it doesn't look right. That's weird. We'll just have to wait and see, folks. I have no idea. Hold on. Now this area does kind of look like it, but it's small. and the wings are the wrong shape. What do you guys think? The area I'm looking at's right here. But this looks more Crusader than this. See, where's the pipes? There's no pipes on it. Well, huh. Yeah, at this point, we'll find out when we find out, man. Yeah, closer to SitCon. That's what I say. Yeah, more than likely. More than likely, that's when we'll learn more. Probably next month. It did it to me look like the Carrack. Well, here in 2 weeks, we might be getting an update for this finally. I've waited half a year or more for the Progress Tracker V2, which hasn't had an update since late last year. And I'm curious what's going on in the background. You know, besides people going on holidays. Either way, fire I can see adding to gameplay, mainly because if you take too much damage in a ship, your ship's gonna combust, burn, break. Things in your ship can break and combust. That's pretty scary. And in an oxygen-laden atmosphere, like the interior of a ship, that should scare people. You don't want to have free-for-all firefights in the cargo hold of your ship. Fair enough. Either way, here in about 15-20 minutes, I'm going to have to get off here anyways because I have an appointment later tonight. Unfortunately, I have to get my heavy butt into the shower and get cleaned up to go somewhere in Oklahoma City later tonight. So, yay, fun. I had to deal with a bunch of snobby people that have big mouths. You know, put on a good show, smile, yeah. Always fun. Yeah, really. Yeah, really. Jim, you and me are about the same thing. I put on a show for these folks just because I like some of them, but man, some of them are, woo boy. They've made it their mission to dislike me just because I'm disabled. I don't know what their deal is, but you know what? There's no place for that in the modern world. I always remember what people said when I was growing up. If you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all, you know? Anyways, Dark Sided. Sorry my stream's gonna be a little shorter than I'd like today. You guys, all you guys. Mainly because I actually want to be on longer, but oh yeah, I do. I have some friends. Luckily I've made some friends. Hey Measure, are you still there? Yeah, there are a few people. I've made a few friends in the leadership since there was a changeover. So thankfully, I have some friends in high places now. You're here for now? Yeah. Gotcha. I try to stay friendly with the high up management because those guys are decent. All right. Well, I totally am drawing a mental blank. Oh, greasy fingers. Greasy fingers. The attack of greasy fingers. That is so funny. The attack of greasy fingers. Eating pizza while keeping my greasy fingers off stuff. It's funny. Pizza good. Pizza good. Pizza good for you. Do, 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 do. Huh. Well, I eat pizza after the Stargazers meeting, actually. I am part of an amateur astronomy club, actually. These guys, their meetings can be a little boring, but it kind of ties into my whole, you know, what I do in Star Citizen. Let me show you my club website. No, I have not. Oops. This is my local club that I'm actually a member of. We have a meeting tonight. That's where I'm going. What's the Umbrella Academy about? I haven't seen it yet. I don't know anything about it, guys. So, yeah. Another superhero show? Oh, is it like Heroes? You know, some shows like that I dig. Others, it's like I'll watch it a little bit and then I'll be like, do I really want to see how this ends, you know? Right? Because there are some shows that I couldn't stomach the ending of. Uh, Lost, yeah. Freaking Lost. That show lost me halfway through the final season. Lost was like, why? Why? Right? I mean, I'm just saying, you know, it's not even about that. It's about not even paying attention to what the people who watch the show want. You know, taking it a direction that the people don't want in the show. That you know, the general audience. I'm just pointing it out, guys. Think about it. Think about it. If you go against the grain of the audience, what do you think nobody's going to watch your shit, right? Think about it. Would you watch something? that is perfectly fine, and then it dunks on itself into shit territory. By the way, I want to share something with y'all. Yeah, that is a good argument. I have started writing a book. I don't know where this is actually going to go or how this is going to go, but I wanted an opinion from a couple of people, so I'll show you what little I've written so far. I wrote this over the course of maybe sci-fi. Star Wars, don't get me started on the lost art of old Star Wars. Yeah. Hang on just a second, chat. I'm going to show you guys this. I'm basically doing this as an exercise right now. But here we go. I'm going to zoom in. If I can. This is basically all I've written for about 1 page or so. And where is a zoom? I mean, I'm just, dabbling at this point. This is not serious. I'm basically just exercising my brain, stretching it out before I get focused. I don't know if you guys can even read that. First person's hard to write from. I've never really heard it is hard to write from. Third person, I've never seen novels from third person. Oh, right. I was just doing it maybe it's just how I write. I don't know. This is probably not going to even be a... I guess I have a difficulty with writing third person. Maybe. Maybe I'll read a couple more books and see if I can figure it out. Narrate the scene. Okay, yeah. I might do that then. The thing is, I haven't even thought up a name for my character yet. Only names of other rough figures in a situation. That's basically, like I said, Jim, It's basically a training exercise for my head, not serious work. I haven't even gotten to the point of actually writing. Myers. I might not know that writer. Please elaborate. Sorry, I'm more used to Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke and people like them. Myers. I might have to look that name up. Yeah, I think right now I'm just basically testing myself to see how it goes dark sided. You know, a lot of people do their thing and then they figure out, oh, this doesn't work for me or this works better, right? I just wanted some opinions, you know, and you guys are helping. Be proud. You guys are actually helping. Just wanted some opinions, you know. Vampire books. Okay, yeah. I think I know those books, yeah. Okay. At the moment I'm not serious about writing this book. It's just basically seeing what I remember from writing school. You know, it's basically a training exercise. Oh, Game of Thrones. Yes, Westeros. The world of Westeros. These Pattersons are nice. Orson Scott Card. His earlier books. How do you guys like them? Not Ender's Game, but his other stuff in that universe. Yeah, he's good. Yeah. Yeah, this is more or less a training book. Training exercise. Huh. What was I looking for? Oh, yeah. Star System. Yeah, Tolkien had a way of creating characters. He really did. Asimov was basically one of my foundational writers. Well, people I would read about and, you know, follow along with. Also, Bova and other old writers. Herbert, too. Frank Herbert's Dune. Yeah, no problem. The Dune ones were good. Fun fact. Dune or Arrakis. Arrakis is only about 70% Earth size, if I remember straight. So it's a very small planet compared to Earth. Yeah, Arrakis is tiny, Mars size at best. Oh, well, I'm just tinkering around. Have you guys ever messed with this? Universe Sandbox. Really dense. Yeah, it might be. This is a full in-body simulator. You can actually simulate star systems in it and stellar collisions. Now, at first, you just have empty space. See how small things are? Add an object. A low mass star. This star is only 114 times the mass of Jupiter, so it's basically an M dwarf. Tiny little star. Oh, it simulates movement. And if planets get too close to each other, they will change paths. Let me show you. Alter this name. Let's see. Mass. So 10 times as much. Now. Sorry, I'm trying to get it to work. Should heat up. It also simulates heat, light, luminosity, and density. Don't get me started. Do not get me started. Let me show you. All right, we're gonna try. How massive is it? Where's the temperature? Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to get the temperature correct. It's supposed to be hotter than this. Luminosity wise. It's supposed to be a giant star. A red star or something. An old star? Oh, you mean like a helium star? Yeah. I think you can to a degree. I think you can. Does our sun have a magnetic field? Let me see. Wait. You can change composition. They're adding stuff all the time to this. 45-degree angle. Give it a magnetic axis. Temperature. Luminosity is wrong. I think it might be too. The luminosity's wrong on this. Hold on, let me see. Oh, that's why the star is only 10 days old. Trying to figure. So, how do you change this again? Trying to remember how to change. Okay, let's put one solar lumen. Okay, delete object. It's not working right. Add. Let's add our sun as a standard candle. Okay. Now, Cool. Good to know. This is our sun. Well, kinda. Sorta. Now what we're gonna do is throw a planet in here. Let's go with a random rocky planet. Kind of close. Yes, scorchy. Very scorchy. Alright. Did I mention in the later updates to this? It's 2 Earth masses. This is a big boy. Super Earth. Yeah, it's in a 6 Earth day orbit. There we go. 12 rotation. Let's make it 1.5. Interesting. Yeah, it's gonna be hot. This is Universe Sandbox. Yes, they've really changed it, haven't they, Dark Side? They have really changed this situation. Let's up the distance a bit further. To how many days? 128 days. So just about on the inner habitable zone. Still in the red zone, but yeah. Actually, let's move it further out. $1.4. It's in the middle of the habitable zone now. 1.4. Name this Kronos 2. Which would mean there's a planet interior to this guy. Okay. Actually, not this far out. 0.7 years. Which equates 0.7. Which is 8.4 months. $256-day orbital period. We'll probably put some in, Jim. Just give me a second. I'm going to try to figure out what I want to do with it first. Let's see. It's got this big old blasted area on it. Slow it down. Does it have an atmosphere already? I don't think this thing has atmosphere. It's got a huge flat area too. Aha! Yeah, there it is. Atmosphere. First things first, though, it's so close to the star, you need a magnetic field. 20 Gauss. There we go. Magnetic field of 20 Gauss. Or rotational axis of 12.5 degrees. Magnetic field active. Now, let's work on the atmosphere. Yeah, I know. Isn't it a fun little game? Let's add a little atmosphere. 1,000, a million megabytes. Yay, there we go. Atmosphere added. Some atmosphere. This is a really big desert on it. How much atmosphere is it for? Atmo is it's basically a nitrogen atmosphere as a base atmosphere. Can I add more? Too much atmo. Way too much. The clouds look wrong. Let's put it at about 0.85. Maybe? No. Clouds look wrong. There's nitrogen on the surface, so that might be the case, but I don't know. Hold on. That is a good question, though. Let's, wow, they are above the surface of the planet. Okay. Let's simulate a colliding rock. It could be cold enough, but we'll see. How do I change material? Iron. Aha! There we go. Oxygen. and some, let's go with a little CO2. I just did, I think. How much? Okay, I need water. Dude, where's the water? Come on. Kind of weird looking. Add other materials. Not massive. We want how big is this moon? I don't know. I don't know how big this moon is. Oh, it's venting. Well, let's see what happens when this big old cloud hits the planet. This should be interesting. It's like V'ger coming in. Look at this big old cloud of... Interesting. Yep, there it went. Into the planet. Yay. Oh, it's gonna break apart. Look at this. This thing is gonna fall apart as it comes into the planet. Very nice. So what's it still made of? Is there any water in it? Freeze all. Hold on. Add new materials. I need water. Entered the Roche limit. Yep, it did. So let's add some water to it. Freeze it all. There it is. It's icy. It's an icy ball now. Freeze all. Slow down. Let's see if it breaks apart. It's only a few hundred meters, 1,000 miles above the planet's surface. Look how close we are, guys. Entered the Roche limit. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's breaking apart. It's breaking apart. Here we go. Wow. Oh yeah, broke apart into multiple fragments as it came in. Oh, look at that, a ring structure too. It made a basin. And do you see the angle? The ejecta came out the right direction, away from the point of impact. The ejecta came out the right direction it should. I've never seen it do that before, but that's pretty cool. So the ejecta literally launched. It'll probably get sucked in because it's too close to the planet. We'll see. It may have come in at too high an angle. It made a C on the one side of the planet. Oh, it's... No, there's still debris raining down. It made a decent sized crater too. I guess it swallowed it. Interesting. Did it eat it all? Punch me outside. Now what I'm gonna do is this. There's what's left. We want carnage. Yes, we want carnage. So do we have a co-orbital or what here? See, we have a co-orbital. Similar orbit, but maybe never collide again. This is basically like a near-Earth object now, right? So look at this. What do we got here? Hold on. So it's 1.5 Earth masses. It's only got this one huge sea on its surface. Now, obviously, in real life, liquid dip. Map 2D. Elevation. See this? This is the atmospheric depth on the planet. This tells you where sea level is. Is there ice here? Where? Where's the ice? Where's the ice here? I don't see any ice. You would think, yeah, there'd be ice at the poles. Ice is in a weird spot on this planet. The rough surface temperature, it's cold. It's like minus 58 degrees Celsius on this planet. I think it's because of this big ice blob on the side. So we need to lower albedo. There it went. Max temp's going up. Just added some. Let's see what that does. Just added some CO2. I think the poles, the axial tilt might have something to do with it too. What is its axis tilt? Wow! 46 degrees. Okay. 14. There we go. That's why the axis is so weird. The axial tilt was so weird on this planet, it's not even funny. It's like 50 degrees. Collision probably affected it, yeah. More than likely, that was a 60-kilometer across rock. So it was rather large. We are gradually getting warmer. See, max temperature has now hit 45 degrees. Average surface temperature is minus 67. Temperature's getting warmer now. True. See what that did. Staying at about 13.7 degrees Celsius now. Rotation's about 12 hours. Yeah, I'm gonna slow down. Well, it was closer to the star originally. Gotta remember that. Oh shit, I forgot what I was doing. Oh hell. Yeah, half one of our days. Yeah, I'm about to get ready to go to my meeting here in a bit. I totally forgot I zonked out. Sorry. Sorry, chat. What's that? Oh yeah, '07. Yeah, shower too. You're right. You're right. I'm gonna raid info runners on Twitch. And I'm gonna excuse myself. Jim, my friend, you have a great day. Everybody else too.